Welcome to the GES podcast. On today's episode, this is actually an amazing opportunity that I have. Dr. Megan is here with us. We met through Instagram. It's a great tool to meeting new people, amazing people. I always take chances and getting to interact with people that attract my same energy and my same vibe. So I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, thank you for having me today. Pauline, I'm so glad that we met and connected. My name is Megan. I'm a doctor of health and human performance, and I'm from Oceanside, California. I own a fitness studio and an outpatient addiction treatment center. So everybody's fit and mindful bodies recovery.
Oh, I love that. Fitness is a big part of your life, isn't it, Megan?
Yes.
At what age did you started getting involved with fitness or getting active?
Well, I've always played sports. I played basketball since like the second grade. So that started like my athleticism. And so then I played in college and I got a full ride scholarship and played from there. And then after college, I came back, and that's when I really started with fitness. I got my master's in physical education and health science. I wanted to be a PE teacher, but that didn't really work out. So then I started personal training, and I became one of the first NASM master trainers. After I worked the corporate route for several years, I opened my own gym. And then in 2017, I started doing natural bodybuilding. So that's kind of the timeline.
Wow. So your entire life, it seems like you've been athletic and very into your health.
Definitely always sports. And then, I guess my generation, we didn't really do like formal gym, right? We just did activities and then PE in school. And then I got into more of like gym and fitness in my later years of life, because it's like when we were in high school, at least for my age, it's like you didn't really go to the gym. We maybe took like
No, we
fitness,
don't.
we just didn't. And so I think like my senior year of high school is when I was just watching like ESPN, and like some of the NBA players were lifting weights, and then I just started to like do it in my backyard kind of thing. So it's kind of funny how nowadays it's so integrated in my life, but like we weren't really taught that in school, other than like you go run the mile, or I don't even think I ever knew what an elliptical was until I got into college. So it's not something, unless I think if you seek it out, or you have like a role model or someone that like a parent that goes to the gym and maybe you go with them. I don't know that as a kid you necessarily go to the gym on your own.
This is true. I actually did not start lifting weights till I was 33. Even though I served in the military, I never put my foot on any gyms. I took myself to Planet Fitness. So it's crazy how I started really, really late in life. You and I have the same age, obviously. I am the senior citizen here, but generation, all we did was, me personally, in high school, party. And it was more of a, girls did not lift weights. We were not supposed to be super strong. There was no bodybuilding in our generations or magazines. It was like, be lean, be skinny, and look
Cardio.
at cardio. Do all the cardio, which I did, and I used drugs to be skinny. And we'll get there. But definitely not a physical person until later on in life. So I'm glad that we both pick up the weights, and that is something that helps women uplift each other, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And it's been like, I would say probably in the last 10 years that the gym is now a mixture of men and women in all sections of the gym. It used to be just the women in the cardio section and just the men in the weight section. But now there's, strength training is really important for women to fight off like osteoporosis, osteopenia, and just to have, strong core, and it helps with balance, all of those things, to be just strong women in all the things that we do in life.
Well, lean muscle is secret to longevity. You're the doctor. Correct me if I'm wrong. For what studies show, the more muscle you have, the better for your health.
Yeah, overall too, and it improves your metabolism. It's just that we like I say, like we didn't really do weightlifting. And then it's like later in life we learn about it, and you often wonder like what it would have been like had we started sooner. Now we're being kind of reactive. We're trying to make up for maybe weight loss or muscle strength or maybe some sort of health condition where if maybe we were taught at younger years, and then we integrated it throughout our lives, it would be a different story.
Exactly. Now, what made you specifically train to become a natural bodybuilder? You are a unique. I'm gonna say I'm in Georgia, and I am not against people that use steroids, but the community of bodybuilding that I'm around, at least in my gym, they're very competitive and they go for that Olympia look. The
Mm-hmm.
Olympia look, you definitely had to be in a little bit of gear, not necessarily, but the natural bodybuilding. How did you choose that as your main train?
So basically, um, it's, I won't say a complicated story, but the lead up to it. So many of my clients always ask, like, how come you don't do, bodybuilding? You're so fit, you'd be really good at it. And I only knew of the type of bodybuilding that existed with, performance enhancing drugs. And
Of
with
course.
with my background, I've never had um, a formal like addiction problem, but my mother was an alcoholic and she passed away from that. So I have a lot of addictive behaviors. And so for me to incorporate something where I'm going to start using substances, I don't do anything in moderation. So it was kind of like testing the waters if I wanted to get into that. And then I talked to someone in the industry, and they kind of said, "Well, you kind of have to make a choice." They called it the dark side, or there's other types of bodybuilding. And I was like, "What do you mean other types?" And it was a coworker, and he said, "Well, there's a type where it's natural bodybuilding, where they actually drug test the participants. So it's just about clean eating and exercise. That's all you can do. Like it's a different look, and you'd probably be more competitive and more." Successful in that realm. And so I was like, I guess I could do that. That sounds like something. And so then that was in like December of 2016. And I was like, I never really made a New Year's resolution, but okay, maybe I'll do that. So I looked online and there was a show in March. So it's December. I signed up, New Year's resolution, I'll do a bodybuilding show in March. And I trained for 3 months and I did it. And I placed. And
Wow.
then my second show, I got first place. I qualified professionally and I just fell into it. And then now, obviously, I don't do it in moderation because that's just where I go and all of that.
That's who we
But
are.
at least it's natural bodybuilding. So, and
Well, tell everybody right now.
I should probably explain that right now I'm getting my hair braided
I was
because
about to say, tell
no,
us what you're doing. How did you get involved
this
so
is
deep?
my this is my stage look. It's kind of like it's kind of my niche. So I always get my hair braided. So I'm on Team USA for it's called ICN. I Compete Natural, and I'm going to be going to New Zealand actually on Tuesday. So in 2 days for a competition that is on July 6th. So I'm really excited, and I'm just kind of putting all the final touches together with preparation. And getting my hair braided is one of them. And since I'm here for like 4 hours, I'm talking to you.
That is amazing that this evolved from 2016. You decided to take the natural route. I want everybody to understand. 2016, she made the choice to start this new career path. And now it's leading up to her going to New Zealand in 2024. It was not overnight. I think a lot of people give up when they don't see the results, so they're not in Team USA. You have worked your ass off to get
Yeah.
here.
I've been all over the world. I've been to Italy, Australia, South Korea, France. Had incredible opportunities that my husband and I get to go on to all these places, and I get to do competitions and see the world. But there's like this AC/DC song that says it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. And for me, it is a long way to the top, and you have to stick with things. A lot of people in bodybuilding, you know, might do 1 or 2 shows and say, okay, I did that. It's off, bucket list. I did it. I think
Right.
that for others who stay, like there's a lot of really great experiences you can have with it. Um, and once you get to a higher level of competition, it just like you get better and better every year. So it's like you're beating yourself each year too, and then you're getting to compete against others who are working and training hard as well. And it's not a sport that, let's say, you necessarily like win money, or especially on the natural
Yeah, it's
side,
a waste of
or
money.
it's just for your own pride and your own. It's something that I like to do. And a lot of people say that, like, why do you do that? I mean, what, you get like a trophy? How many trophies do you need? And I'm like, it's not about the trophy. So for me, like something like going to New Zealand, I mean, just I'm nervous, excited, but it's a really big deal. And it's so much fun to work that hard for something. It's super motivating. And then after, I get to explore a whole new country with my husband. So, I mean, why wouldn't I continue to do that?
It's the experience. You're also representing our country, a great country. I mean, my husband and I both serve. He's the hero. He deployed a million times. Have a
Thank you
lot
for
of great,
serving too.
no problem. So putting that flag on your body, regardless of if win a medal means more than a price. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's you made it. You're representing us, and we're gonna wish you all the luck and good energy is there with you. When you were talking about how you got into all this addictive personalities, obviously I can't relate. You come with that background. You own two things: your gym, and you mentioned an addiction center. What
Mm-hmm.
made you start your career and pursue on addiction, helping addict?
Sure. So as I mentioned briefly, my mother, she was an alcoholic, and the disease took her life away. And so when I was 21, I unfortunately was the one who found her. And it was a traumatic experience, but one that I feel really made me to be the person that I am. I mean, I got all my incredible qualities from her. She was a world champion baton twirler. So she got to go all over the world doing that. And she was like a Barbie doll and smart and intelligent. She was a teacher. So I have a lot of those genes from her, and I'm really grateful. And I know also from personal experience that addiction destroys relationships, it destroys families. It is awful in so many ways. But there's also, I'm taking that, and it fueled my passion to help change lives for the better. So at my fitness studio, my motto is to help everybody become the best version of themselves. And so at the end of last year, I was kind of looking at financially what I could do with some of my investments and so forth. And I really didn't want to do something like a sober living, or I didn't even want to buy another house and rent it out. Like, it's just like too much work. But there was a business for sale, and it was an outpatient addiction recovery center. And so I looked into it, contacted my financial advisor, and then I bought it. And I changed the name to Mindful Bodies, which aligns with my fitness studio, but the bodies for that stands for Behavioral Outpatient Discovering Yourself. So we offer partial hospitalization, which is like 6 hours a day, or you can come for outpatient, which is 3 hours a day. We just have various programs based on your severity. Also, what
Wow.
your insurance might cover for you has a big part in it as well. And so what happened was, that was as we were going through all like the legal purchasing and so forth. It's right in downtown Oceanside. So it's literally 2 blocks from the beach. It's on Pier View Way. So it's on the street of the pier, the Oceanside Pier. So it's amazing. Well, right next door to it, it was the same building. It was a Pilates studio. And the girl didn't renew her lease. And so I had had my fitness studio in Oceanside for 12 years at this point. And I was like, oh my gosh, what if I move my studio right next door?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was like God aligned all of it. Boom, right there. And then I moved my studio there, have my recovery center right next door. It's in downtown, beautiful Oceanside, and it's just like all a dream come true. And then last year, last year, beginning of this year, I talked with the city, and a really big trend right now is murals on the walls of like all the buildings around here. Spray paint,
Oh, I
graffiti,
love
all of
graffiti.
that. Yeah.
I love graffiti and street
So
art.
to me, the spirit of my mom is a butterfly. So like everything in my life is butterflies. So I have two big butterflies on my wall and then two pugs because I have pugs and they're the mascots at my studio. So when you come down Peerview Way, you get to see my mural and you keep going and then you get to the beach. So it's really cool.
Well, I definitely want to go visit. I do have family in San Diego, California. It's nice and sunny, very, very far away from me, but it's a beautiful place, and that will be a great treatment center. I myself am an addict, alcoholic and drug addict, and I have no shame talking about it. Everybody knows I abused drugs my entire life. I did lose both of my parents when I was 11, and I just was a user for the longest time, and I destroyed my life. And I'm living example that you can turn it around. And I will say fitness. So the fact that you combine both of those made me really interested in your story, because fitness kind of saved me when I quit alcohol in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I had to quit drinking. I had already stopped doing the drugs, but I became an alcoholic in the military. So it's like I leave one
Okay.
for another one. Addiction takes you to levels.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally found the gym, and even though it was Planet Fitness, I that's what had me to stop drinking. And I believe it or not, I personally think, and I'm sorry for your loss with your mother. My dad was also an alcoholic. Alcoholism, I guarantee, is the worst drug, and I say it as the drug user personally.
Wow.
You're the doctor. I don't know if you think, I'm sure heroin is worse, but I'm just saying that the level of addiction and alcohol to me is another so damaging to your entire
It is.
life.
And so what the part about fitness is that when I was getting my doctorate, you get to pick like the topic of your research study. And so what I
Mhm.
did was the influence of exercise on substance abuse recovery. So I did like a whole research study and they made a textbook out of my research. And so, I mean, there's so much science behind how beneficial exercise can be to someone's recovery, but it's not to be used as like a replacement or something instead of seeking, formal treatment or maybe going to group meetings or behavioral therapy. It's a tool that you can use. And then what's also really interesting is that, like, even with my personality, I mean, I pretty much know that I'm addicted to exercise, right? That's my outlet.
That's a good question, honey.
Not, but it's a good addiction. However, like there is no diagnosis, according to the American Psychological Association, for exercise addiction. So
But
there's behaviors like gambling is the only behavior that is actually classified as an addiction, because the funny part is anyone can become addicted to anything. You could become addicted to quilting, right? And at some point it becomes unhealthy because it's impacting relationships negatively. It's just becoming an obsession. It's
obsession, the word.
and it's just overpowering all of your thoughts and your responsibilities. So you might, start lacking even in areas of work because for you it's more important. It takes precedence over everything else, and you just become selfish about that behavior. And so there's all of these different criteria that meet the diagnosis of, um, you know, to classify an addiction, but exercise isn't one. And there's certainly a lot of connections in my life I can make to that, because if I went down, it's called the Diagnostic Manual of Statistics, but anyways, from the American Psychological Association, they tell you all the things you're supposed to be for an addiction, and I'm like, if I plugged in the word exercise instead of alcohol,
Never,
pretty sure I'm
yeah,
there.
you
But
got
that's
it.
just the way. But
And
it's I guess in the end game, right, it is healthier than anything else. And I appreciate you saying those words about alcoholism. I think a lot of it has to do with you can be an alcoholic and function to a degree more so than other substances. And I think that's what makes the addiction so ongoing, that it's really hard to make a hard stop with something that you can be
function.
really sneaky with it and lie with it in a less obvious way than other. I mean, other addictions. And I think
Because
that
it's legal.
it's
Because it's legal.
legal. And I mean, at this day and age, you can get it delivered to your house. So, I mean, you can have an ankle monitor on you, serve time because you had 2 DUIs, and now you can't drive, but you could call Uber and they can still bring you your fix. So,
That's right. That's right. It's one of those very heavy duty. I say it. I would say I was at the point that if I didn't drink a bottle of Tito's, I was not functioning. Or I told my husband I need to drink a whole skinny girl margarita to clean the house. Why did I
hmm
need to drink in the house? It's
hmm
ridiculous. I had to stop, and exercise did become an addiction to me. So I am also guilty. I'm not gonna leave it. When you treat your patients at the addiction center, and I talk for experience, I've been in rehab multiple times, and I'm gonna say it from my experience. For to me, they were not helpful. I quit dry, everything. That
hmm
when I feel like when you want to quit something, you quit it. I'm not saying the rehab was not good or the treatment was not good. My mind was not ready. It's a mindset. It's a whole. You have to be ready to move forward with your life. Is there anything that you do into your personal plans to your patients that works? It's a combination. What will be your secret recipe, or what is your advice for someone seeking help that I help in your rehab center rather than other rehabs?
Well, anyone that enters rehab has to do it for themselves. You can't do it for someone else. If you're coming for a court order or whatever it might be, you ultimately are the decision maker of change. So there are people who come at different stages of readiness, and it's
Mm.
decisional balance. Like when you're at the point where the pros of being sober outweigh the pros of drinking, that's when you know you're ready. And not everyone comes ready. Everyone is, even today, if you're clean, you are always vulnerable for relapse for the rest of your life. And I think that one of the things that we do is we treat what's dual diagnosis. So that means we treat the mental health side of it as well. Normally, there's something associated with why you started drinking or using some type of drug. And so we have 2 psychiatrists, a behavioral health therapist, and a case manager, and we have someone who facilitates the groups and the one-on-one individual counseling. So we are a smaller facility, so we treat the individual because there's not a one-size-fits-all. You can sit in a group and listen to others and share stories and relate in one way, but your journey is your journey.
Sure.
And I think that we offer, you know, we're also, one of the only LGBTQ friendlies in San Diego County. So we have a very diverse population. We are also located very close to Camp Pendleton and accept the insurance from TRICARE. So we do treat not just those, active service members, but spouses and
And veterans
people,
too.
and veterans too. So I think that there's a level of privacy and one-on-one, like interpersonal relationships that we make with people. Like when I'm running my gym and I can see one of our counselors like walking down to the pier with a coffee with a client, with a patient. I mean, it's something that I don't think you get that kind of intimate setting anywhere else.
Nope.
And I mean, for me, you're not just a number, you're not just a body in the building. Like, our intention is to help you complete the program, whether it's 30, 60, 90 days, whatever you're there for. And, you know, we're always there for your return in any way that you need to. So people do come back, people do relapse. And it's just, you got to keep trying and you have to be ready to try. And I think that we've been very effective and successful because of the smaller, it's like with my fitness studio. It's not like a corporate facility, right? You come and it matters if you show up. I know every person by name. I know, people make connections with one another. There's not 30 people in the room. So it's like, I don't even remember your name. So I think that the treatment center is the same way. Like, you're there, and if you're coming 5 days a week, like 3 hours a day, like, we get to know you. And I think that's something that's very special. And so right now, we're really trying to improve our marketing and our business development to get more people. Our capacity is probably, like 10 to 15 people. And that's a very small setting. And I think it's something that's very special and a gem in our community that I really want people to be aware of.
You need to expand. I agree because the advice you have amazing combination with the fitness. So what advice do you have to integrate that physical fitness side to a recovery addict plan?
So anyone that comes to the treatment center, they can join any of the groups or individual training that they want to during their stay, and it's giving them a healthy outlet, surrounding themselves with encouraging, uplifting people. And the thing about my studio is that I have a lot of people who are in recovery that don't necessarily, it's not like known by everyone else. So I know that they're in AA or whatever they're doing, but not everyone else. And so it makes you feel like, you're getting back to like normal activity, being around normal, healthy people. And sometimes that's really scary at first because you're just like, all I've ever done is mess up, for the last 6 months. And now I'm trying to function like a normal human being. But this is a non-judgmental, like healthy environment where people are moving their bodies, all shapes and sizes, and it feels good. And even when you come to my fitness studio, like my clients don't know that you're in recovery next door. They have no idea. But let's say, if her name's Jessica, they know Jessica, and that's all that matters. And so I think that it's just an environment of everybody become, on their own journey, be it fitness, be it health, be it recovery. And it's like-minded individuals just coming together and just using exercise as medicine for physical and mental health reasons.
That is amazing. It's a great combo. Again, this is definitely a different approach to recovery and addiction. When I was in my 20s, I never had this chance. I wasn't top, not gonna lie. A few of my rehabs were amazing and quality, but all they have you doing is it's like cooking and
Right.
talking,
So
and you go back
that's the
to
interesting
eating.
part. When I did my research study and I had all these participants, and it was about how exercise has influenced the recovery. Not one of them had been recommended by, like, be it, their sponsor or be it anyone in a treatment facility to say, hey, you know what, you should start incorporating exercise. No one ever suggested that, even though
Nope.
we know how much it can help someone. And it's a shame. And just, when you go to the doctor, it's not, people don't prescribe exercise as medicine. They just say, oh, if you need to lose weight, well, you should start working out. But without guidance and direction, that can be really difficult and really intimidating for someone. So one of the things that I do have, and that, I would like to, get out there on a wider scale too, is I do have a fitness app. It's called FitPace. And that app can be incorporated into recovery treatment centers. So it's a cell phone app that has like a whole workout program for people in recovery, with, based on whatever your goals might be. If it's, weight loss or strength training or a combination of the two. I have an exercise program. So when I did my research study, I came up with this acronym called PACE. It's proactive awareness of controlling excess, because for all of us who have addictive personalities or in recovery, excess is something that comes very easy for us. So the exercise program in the app is meant to be like, okay, this is today's workout, and that's it. And so you're using it as a tool for your recovery, for, accountability, and then to achieve the positive results of exercise. But then again, to not like get to a place of now you're replacing, exercise with what you were doing before, because people do that. They do that with cigarettes. They do that with sugar. It's easy. So we want to keep exercise on a positive level, and just in moderation, even though that term is really difficult for a lot of people.
But we're definitely going to put the app because that is a perfect tool to help others. You have the tools to help others, even though we're far away. Anybody now with technology can download that app, and maybe it's a secret person that is dealing with addiction, and you can start with a fitness program. They can start moving their bodies, and then maybe they
Mm-hmm.
reach out. Do you have any out treatment for people that are out of state, like me, for example?
Yes. So, one of the silver linings for my fitness studio during COVID, even though it was awful and I was closed for 3 months, was just virtual training. So now I have clients from all over, right? Like New York, Texas, and we just do video sessions. And you can video into one of my groups and be right there with us, or we can do one-on-one training. So that's how I can help. And then, of course, with the treatment center, there's telehealth. So that can be used as well. And then the other part is that I have a lot of books that I've written, and those are all on Amazon. I have children's books, cookbooks, and then I have a series of, well, they're butterfly books, but they're all about addiction. One is the story of me and my mother. One is the story of 10 different types of addicts that I interviewed. Another is about eating disorders, and another is a poetry book, and then others are about pugs. But the point is that when we share our stories, like how we are today on this podcast, we open the opportunity for others to feel that they're not alone and that there might be something or someone they can relate to and to possibly seek help. Because sometimes just shame and embarrassment can lead to isolation, and you just get further and further into your depression or your addiction when it's like there are other people out there who are just like you. And when we share our stories, we kind of break down stereotypes and these, judgments of other people. Because let's face it, like walking into your first meeting, AANA, it's like super intimidating. But there are people out there that you can relate to, and that's what my books do. For others, like for example, in the book that I wrote with about eating disorders, I interviewed 8 different girls. Didn't know anything about them other than like I had some sort of connection to them, like maybe because I needed participants, right? So it's like you had trained with me or I'd gone to high school with you, something like that. And I'm like, hey, would you willing to be an anonymous participant in my book? And of course they did. Well, I had no idea that all 8 of them had been sexually abused. And that's what led to their eating disorders. How are we not talking about this or aware of this? I mean, it's
They
it's
hold it.
crazy. They hold it inside, but yet you can help someone else by sharing your story. And I think that's really powerful, and it's hard to do that. It takes courage, and sometimes just letting our ego go and letting our pride go and just opening ourselves to, for me, I think that, and I know not everyone believes this, but I do think that having a connection with your higher power is really important. And your higher power doesn't have to be the same as mine, but I think that when you're really willing to change, it's letting go and surrendering and deciding that I am powerless to this addiction or this situation that I am in, and I need to seek God for direction and discernment and what it is that I need to be doing. And I just feel that's very important. At my treatment center, at my studio, in no way is that something that's like a requirement. But I do feel that, sharing my faith and my faith story and how much it's helped me, again, can help someone else.
No, I'm 100%. That's why I started the Good Energy Squad when I came up with the name. Everybody's always saying you're so happy, and for years, Pauline, you're just always happy at the gym. Why? I said, do you think my life is perfect? You have no clue about my past, and they're like, you should write a mini series because your story is wild, right? I have 40 years of experience in bad situations. I just didn't become this happy just because being happy is a choice. I share my stories, and my husband, there's probably things that my husband is barely discovering about me because I didn't want to talk about it, or maybe it was a very traumatizing experience for me in my childhood growing up with an alcoholic dad. But now I feel like talking about it or talking to you is putting it out there for somebody to embrace it and seek help, see change, know it gets better. Just having something to look forward, like you said, an exercise the next day, or just putting your story out there. It's motivating. It motivates me. The people at the gym motivate me every day. And I'm not trying to compete like you guys. You guys are my heroes, but just watching it and seeing you and hearing you keeps me going. And that's what humanity needs more. More help from each other.
Yes. And I think that something like exercise is an actionable tool, meaning like we can sit and talk, or, you know, we can read books like what I have, but
Mhm.
it's, you have to do something. Action
Action.
speaks so much louder than
All
words.
the
And so when, you know, when a person is struggling with their addiction and they're super selfish, I mean, how many times do they lie to you? How many times do, you know, they wrong you? And we know that we can't change someone, so they have to take the actions themselves. They can tell us what we want to hear as much as, you know, but they have to show us that. And you know, if someone is ready to change and to, you know, finally seek help, it takes action. You can't just think about it. And the same goes for fitness too. Like, you can't just think about losing weight, you can't just think about getting stronger, you have to do something. So it's a really big part of the treatment center too, is that some of my fitness clients, they go to the treatment center not for addiction, but we have mental health services. So I have a really great therapist. They go and talk to my therapist over there. It's great. And one of the things I love about her is that she gives you actionable homework. She's not just
Good.
leaving and saying, hey, I heard you, woe is you, you know, I hope you feel better tomorrow. She's like, okay, when you get home today, this is what I need you to do. And when you come back next week, I want to know that you did this. It's empowering someone to be like, I'm not just going to think about it. Like, I got to do something. I got to get it together. I got to get going. Because I think so much in life we procrastinate and we delay, and it's like people think that there's this perfect time to
Nope.
start to go to the gym or to start to, you know, there's always going to be something, because that is life. And sometimes I catch myself as being not as
Yeah.
empathetic or not as compassionate as I'd like to be towards other, because I'm like, okay, so what? Like, that's life. You're gonna have to get over it. We're gonna have to work through this. You know what I mean? Because you can dwell on things and you can really get into a downward spiral, but it's like the more you do that, the further and further it's gonna be and the harder it's gonna be to climb out of it. So I'm like, okay, that's where we're at. Let's work around it. Let's pivot. Let's do something else. So I work with people who have Parkinson's disease, who are in chemotherapy, all of those things. And it's like, we work through it. Like, this is the cards that life has dealt us. Let's put some action into it. Let's pray about it and let's get going, because nothing will change if we don't make the changes.
It starts with us. I say it all the time. And I did certify myself as a life coach. And it's so simple as changing your mindset. It sounds that it's a lot difficult for people to adjust that your brain, that when you make action, you're going to get a reaction. So the less you do, the less results you get. It's
Right.
that simple. And it's an everyday, as an addict, it's an everyday battle. It's not in 5 years I'm going to be okay. No, you wake up every day and you have to fight those demons yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's extremely hard. And you want to know something funny? And I do believe in the universe and the higher power and everything going around in the good energy. My mom always came to me. It started as a butterfly. How
Mm-hmm.
wild. I never met you in my life. But when I was in basic training, I survived because of those butterflies. And I always thought it was my mom. And now it's moths. And when I
Mm.
started, yeah, my vision board this year, I started my business. It's my first year. This moth was just waiting for me the day I did my giant moth inside my house, right by my coffee. And now I see him all the time that I have a difficult, you know? So
Yep.
I understand your butterfly meaning. I don't think people connect or see the signals, but they're all around us. The
Definitely.
universe sending us signals to you can do it. You got this. You just have to pay attention and you have to move forward. Now through your journey, I want to know, because we all have support. Like now you come with my support, we just met, but who has been your biggest support through this journey and how have they helped you achieve all of this that you've gone so far with your business and life?
Okay, well, that's an easy answer. It's definitely my husband. I've known him since the third grade, so we're one of
Oh,
those couples. My dad was his high school basketball coach and coached all his brothers, so I've known his family a really long time. And we actually, last Sunday was our 12-year wedding anniversary, and so we've been together like 17 years, but more than that. We weren't together really during college because we didn't have cell phones, and so I went to Colorado and he went to San Diego State, so it's kind of hard to have long distance relationships
hard
at
to
that
that back
time.
in the day.
But we
Letters.
decided if it was meant to be, we'd come back and then write, that sort of thing. But he encourages me no matter what, and he makes me feel like I can do anything. And so when everything happened with my mom, I mean, he was the first person on site, all of that, helped me get through those tough times. And not just for me, but for like my dad too. He's been a really great son-in-law to my dad. And he also, when I was getting my doctorate and it felt like, and I was running a business at the same time, I mean, he would stay up late and play video games just so I wouldn't go to sleep. I had to finish my homework and things like that. And then, of course, he comes to every single competition. He helps make all, my chicken and things like that. So just all the little things that add up. So if you watch any of like the videos on social, you can hear him cheering, and he's just really awesome. And I'm really grateful, and God blessed me with a good one. So I couldn't ask for any better.
Now that's huge. That's huge when you are all on your own when it comes to parents and family. I also love my husband. He's not loud. He's very quiet. He's the opposite of me, but he supports me on his own little way. I accept it for how he is. Funny, Friday is my 12-year wedding anniversary.
Oh,
Let me,
congrats.
I'm
Wow.
telling you. And another thing that I always say with my podcast guests, without even planning, is 4th of July. It's America's birthday. And I have
Oh, yeah.
actually
And
the week of 4th of July in your competition.
yeah, and technically I'm competing on your anniversary because
Yes.
a day ahead. Yep. All these
It's
little
supposed to,
things.
it's going to be, so this is going to be good for both of us. I believe it. I truly believe that everything that you do with good intentions and you go full hard and take risks, to me you're a risk taker. You're definitely prepared for everything ahead of you, which is my next question. How do you do it all? How do you demand the competitive building plus being a doctor plus being a wife?
It's a lot. My days are very, very long. That I work like 13 hours a day. This is like the first time I've sat down in a long time, so I had to take a half day of work to get my hair done, things like that. Um, but I have a coach that I see that helps me and keeps me accountable. I seriously, like, in between clients, I only have like 2 or 3 minutes. I'll put my heels on, I'll start practicing posing. I'm a go, go, go type of person. Um, I do best with structure and being busy. When things stop, that's when I get into my own head and I get anxious and all those types of behaviors. So I know that being busy is also a coping mechanism, but productivity is what I thrive on. And, I never knew that I was going to be an entrepreneur. My original game plan was to be a high school PE teacher and basketball coach. But now I really am driven. I have a go-getter attitude, and I just feel like this is my purpose and my path. So sometimes things are hard, but I also feel like my calling is higher. And so God's equipped me to be able to do all of this. So that's how I
You're
get
doing
through
it.
it.
You're doing it. You're
Mm-hmm.
crushing it.
Action.
Your day action takes reaction. I complain all the time because I tell myself I played myself becoming a business owner. Now I work Monday through Sunday, 24/7.
Yep.
And I do take care of my husband. That's why I said I just finished cooking. I was feeding my husband. He's always going to be my priority, obviously. But like I told him, the good energy it's not me. I'm just the beacon of light here to share the energy with everybody around me, and that's my purpose. And Another thing we have in common, you mentioned you were living the corporate world. I've been on it for 11 years. It does not fill me up. It does not fulfill me. And I'm a
Mhm.
huge motivator to people. If you are unhappy, relationship, work, routine, your workout, change it. It's up
Mhm.
to you to change your destiny. What do you advise for others seeking to build a strong support system around them and also move forward with their dreams and their goals? What can we tell them for them to just go for it?
I think a lot of times people get stuck in situations because it's comfortable, because it's convenient, and because it's going to take a lot of effort for change. And so you're looking at like the end game. But really, even in recovery, it's one day at a time. So if you take one day at a time, you take the first step and then the second step, you can do anything you set your mind to. You just have to break it down into realistic expectations and goals. When people think about losing weight, they go, oh, I mean, I need to lose like 100 pounds. Well, not right now, but you can start, right, at increments. And
Okay.
I also think that as a go-getter, I don't have to I'm not going to write this whiteboard agenda of how I'm going to do something. I'm just going to do it. And it takes
No.
a level of risk, but it's the biggest risk and the things that make us the most uncomfortable and scared that usually turn out to be the best decisions we ever made. But if you just get into that place of the perfect time or the perfect moment or the perfect day to do something, it's never going to be that way. So
Nope.
whether I do it today or whether I do it tomorrow doesn't matter. Just get it done. And I'm kind of more the person that the more that the more I get done today, the more time I have tomorrow for opportunities that will come. But if I'm too
Every
busy
day is an opportunity. Oh my
every day,
God.
I don't know who's going to walk into my door and sign up for training. Um, but I know that if I put my appointments today and I fill up all my appointments, and let's say that I get a cancel tomorrow, hey, someone might come in and sign up with me. I don't know, but I want to get the appointment done today, so in case if that happens tomorrow, I'm always preparing for betterment, for um, I'm giving myself that chance. And a lot of people don't give themselves that chance. Instead, they're too worried about what might happen or what could go wrong.
They also worry too much about opinions. I've been life coaching a couple of people, and the number one worry of everybody is what will people will think. If that's really what's going to stop you to live your best life and fulfill your purpose on why we're put on earth, others people's opinions is the
Mhm.
number one thing stopping people from following their dreams. Did you
That
have people like that
that
around you?
I agree. And what we individually decide to do in life isn't for everyone else to understand. It's not really like a conference meeting. It's something that we choose ourselves. And if we know we're doing the right thing, it's God's path and plan for us. So it's what we're meant to do, not what someone else is meant to do, because we're all individually gifted in our own ways.
And not everybody has to like you. I keep telling them that. I don't want everybody to like me, even though I'm super likable. And maybe some people don't agree with that. And I'm okay. I don't want to be liked by everybody. I just want to be the light for everybody. If you don't want to receive it, then that is your path, right? I'm not forcing it. I'm just being myself. I'm just moving forward with my life. It should not stop the next person from doing what they're meant to be. We let
Right.
others influence our daily activities. And I believe, like you said, your husband's a great support. How about friends? Do you have that good surround your circle? Like, I can't be friends with my druggy friends. I love them to death, but we're not going to hang out tomorrow anymore because I might want to do a line.
Yeah, I definitely have. I call them my life team, and those are people in my life that are always there for me and in my corner, and they're my greatest supporters. So I might not have actual you know blood family, right there by my side, but I have what I call my pseudo mom. I have my
Mhm.
um, mentor. I have people in my life who always are there for me no matter what, and I'm really appreciative of that. I tend to relate to older people. Like a lot of my friends are older. I think that's because I've done a lot of things kind of at a younger age. So I relate to others who kind of are more stable in their lives, not necessarily still figuring out what they want to do. But with people who, they're married, have a house, whatever it is, but they're more established with where they're going and what they're doing, and now we're just trying to better ourselves from there. And then I still have my best friend from college, and then I have a couple close friends here too. So I've got a good network of people that I can always count on, and my mother-in-law is really great too.
Oh, that's awesome. Me and my monster-in-law are barely getting along. It took us 10 years, but we're there yet. Just in Minnesota. That's a whole other story.
Okay.
But my friends and the community, I think I made so many good friends, female friends in Instagram. And it's wild, right? Because you think, I don't know these people, but I've known them for years to the point that I know their birthdays. Some have even come and visit me in Atlanta and we catch a workout, and I know about their families. And this is someone that I met on the internet. So it is a
Mm-hmm.
great tool if you look for the right people, like
Mm-hmm.
us. The universe connect us. You don't want to be following somebody that is partying every weekend. That stuff does not interest me on the internet.
Right. And those, like, you'll attract like-minded people.
Exactly. Like-minded people. My friends are all business owners. They motivate me every day. They have not one, but like 3, 4 businesses. They're not on Team USA yet, but they could, because I swear they're moms. Like, just the fact that you have a child and you're still
Mm-hmm.
killing it. I don't know if you have any children. I have 2 dogs, which are my children. It needs a
Those
lot
are
of
mine, yeah.
responsibility. You ready?
Two
You're a dog
pugs.
mom, right?
Just two pugs,
Yeah.
yeah.
2 Rottweilers. They're not little. They're 2 Rottweilers, and well, sometimes I tell 3 dogs. My husband. That's a joke. They're constant. Imagine having an actual children and still do everything that we do.
Yeah. It's a
They
different
might.
path. But yeah, that takes a strong woman for sure.
It does. It's all your mind. Your mind is as strong as your will, and you're gonna push forward through anything. Now, do you think that adversity makes you stronger?
I think it always does. I think that when you know that you can do hard things, it makes you stronger inside and out. And that to be able to know that you can get through hard things is also um, it boosts your confidence to know that you are capable of getting back up when times are tough and persevering. I mean, we are resilient human beings because we go through a lot, but we can make it. We always can.
And please let everybody know, because they believe that maybe we have it all figured out. We don't. We
Definitely
figured
don't.
out. You might see us. I mean, I see your Instagram and wow, she's fit, she's strong, she's people that don't know you, right? They might just look in, or they see me and they see me travel, and you don't know all the overtime I had to put in corporate and bullshit that I had to deal to have an amazing trip. Just because I don't focus on the bad, I
Right,
focus on the good that is gonna come out at the end.
right. I mean, I still, have sleepless nights and worry. I have
Yes.
anxieties. I have fears about, when you're an entrepreneur, there's every day, there's sales, there's highs, there's lows. It's an emotional, you have to be mentally tough. You have to get over the fact that you're not going to please everyone. And, you know, when we look at things like social media, oftentimes, people only post the good things, right? And, for someone like me, I'm not posting all of the behind the scenes work that I'm doing, all of the hard work that I'm putting into it. And, I think that sometimes people think that things might come easy or that I'm perfect, but I don't have it all figured out because I definitely, I have anxiety. I have to deal with that. I cope with that in different ways. I take medication for it, all of those things. So, yeah, I have my struggles too, but I also try to, play to my strengths. And I know that I'm a really good when I want to be good at something, I know I practice, I work really hard. And one thing I know that anyone who knows me would say is that I earn what it is that I have, that I've worked really hard for it.
Yeah, it's not given, it's earned. And those are the things that last in life, because I can tell you, I've had, when I was in my drug addict, I had all the money because I was dating cartels. These kids were paid cash. I can give you a bunch of examples of how easy things came for me in a bad way. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
stay. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't stay when you don't work hard for the things. And I always show everybody when I'm in my stories, or maybe people that care, right? Because sometimes we don't want to share too much to people that are not
Mm-hmm.
caring. They're just noisy. I'm above that. I'm an adult. I'm not going to explain myself to nobody. I pay my own bills.
Right.
And see that I have, for example, all that merch that I have to organize. I stay till 1 a.m. And by the way, I will be sending you a GES fit set for you to model.
Yay.
Be in my guest,
Thank
and
you.
hope you like it. So I would need your address. And it's just hours, right? Constantly hours of work and constantly hours of telling myself, I got this. I am worthy. I am loved. Manifestation is huge. As a life coach, I wake up, I write down my intentions. And it's little things like that, little habits. Write down what you want and be grateful. Do you think gratitude is in your life? Do you wake up with that grateful heart every day?
Definitely. I wake up every morning and I say my morning prayer and I say thank you for all the things in my life. Every time a client uh, leaves my gym, I say thank you, God, for that workout with so and so.
Gratefulness and gratitude will take you all the way to the top. This is just the beginning for you. You have any closing comments for anybody listening to us? Anything that you want to share with us to inspire, motivate, or any personal stories that you want to share?
I just think that everyone is capable of becoming the best versions of themselves when they decide that they're worthy, that they're loved, and that they can do anything they set their mind to. And that despite any challenges, illnesses, whatever it might be, there's always a way to work through it and decide to work with it and let it just accept where you are today, but also know that this is your path. And now do it, take action, use what you have and what you're given and just become the best you with it.
I agree. I am very, 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 very grateful to have you today in the podcast. Thank you for coming to my DMs. It was a send. I again, the universe makes us. There's this saying. You just speak Spanish. You live in California.
I don't, but my brother's an immigration attorney. He does.
Oh my God. Well, there's this saying in Spanish. Tell your brother when he listens to the podcast, put the caption. This says, Dios nos hace y nosotros nos juntamos. And I say this on my Spanish pod all the time. So God makes us, but it's up to us to find each other in this life. So the people that you surround yourself in certain moments of your life, it was meant to be.
I
It's
agree with
always
that.
meant. There is a higher purpose, and wherever you are in life is what you're going to attract. And we and Dr. Megan, we're going to put all of your links and all of your Instagram when this episode releases, and just know that we're going to be cheering for you from the top of our lungs. I am the number one cheerleader of all my friends, and I may not lift really heavy, but I love lifting people. I find it so rewarding to lift others. It brings me joy. It doesn't take from me. I admire somebody else that is doing amazing, and you are doing amazing, sweetie. Like
Thank you so
generally
much.
will say, you are amazing. And if nobody in the world believes in you, don't care, because you got to believe in yourself every day. Just tell yourself, you got this.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me today.
No, thank you, and good luck and safe travels. That's going to be a long travel for you.
Thanks.